We're here at Harris Seed in Vernon, Florida, getting about 30 posts, 36-inch posts, and I think we're getting 6 4-inch posts to make our H-brace. So sit back and watch the show. Tried to put the whole 34 or 35, which is a complete bundle. We tried to put the whole bundle on, but he couldn't get it to come off the forklift. So then he cut the straps, trying to keep as many on the forklift, and when he went to make the turn, about a dozen or more fell off. This hasn't gone very good so far. My poor trailer.
I guess y'all want to come to property and unload them, huh?
What do you think now?
So you ain't got time for that. Did you hand pick the ones you wanted?
Well, they're scrawny, so he didn't have much to choose from because someone's already picked all the big ones.
So yes, you did.
I don't think she wants any more.
No, she didn't want any more.
All right, so these posts are pretty heavy. I don't know what they weigh. They're probably pushing 100 pounds. They're not wet, but they're heavy. It's heavier than some of the ones we used on the front fence line. So we're just trying not to hurt ourselves, especially not hurt Miss Piney Grove back there. These posts probably weigh more than she does. This is a good size 4-inch post. It's probably a solid 4-inch post, where them other ones might even be like 3 inches or so. But sometimes in the stack of 4-inch, you'll get a 5-inch post. And if you saw our fence video, I want our fences to look a certain way, so I'm not willing to compromise on that. So I can always use posts for something else if these don't work out for the H braces. And I overbought the amount that I needed, so I may have enough here, or I may have to make another trip. But at least the big post will be here. Some of them are light. If you go back and watch our front fence video, you'll see that we did our entire front fence with those 6-inch posts, but they're really 8-inch. They're big posts and they're heavy, and a lot of them were wet. And we weren't videoing for YouTube back then, so we didn't actually capture a lot of the lifting and the hauling, but each one of those posts for that front fence, and there was 90 of them, were moved 3 or 4 times. I had to go to the lumber yard and get them. I had to put them in a pile, then I had to move them. So it's a lot of work, it's heavy work, but for this fence, we're not gonna put them every 8 feet. We're gonna put them every 30 feet. The guy at the farm store that was in the video talking to Deb, he said, yeah, you don't have to put them so close, you can put them every 100 feet. But what did you tell him, Deb?
I said, there's no way he's gonna let me do that every 100 feet.
There's no way Brad is putting fence post every 100 feet. We're gonna do every 30 feet and then do T-post in between. And that's the fence that we're doing. We got a lot of cleanup to do first. Okay, I stuck this post so you can see the end. This is the biggest post probably out of the bunch. And that post is really, really heavy. There's Deb's hand. So some of these we're able to grab and throw either by myself, or I can throw them on the ground and Deb can then kind of roll them over to the pile. But these ones like here, they're just, I mean, that's what I like. I like the look of that big post, but they're heavy and they're hard to move around.
No help in that.
I will agree. Deb was no help on that one. Welcome back to Piney Grove, folks. I'm Brad.
Deb?
And it's the day after Christmas. On the last video on this series of the fence, that was part 3, I guess, when I had the excavator and tractor out here and I was clearing the fence line. That was Christmas Eve, and I gave Deb a break and did not make her work on Christmas Eve out on the farms. So
This is true.
what do you feel about, how do you feel about that?
I'm very grateful, but the reason he gave me a break is because he said he's going to be on the tractor all day and he didn't need me. So as where I'm grateful, there's a little more to the story.
Yeah, so in that video, you see I do a lot of tractor work, I do a lot of bush hogging, and I do a lot of excavator work, but there was a lot of manual labor, and I was regretting giving her the day off because I moved a lot of sticks by hand that day. But regardless, she's out here with me today. It's a bit windy. We didn't bring our wireless mic because we're going to be doing a lot of hands-on work today, but so please bear with the wind. So the first order of business is go to the north side and sink the biggest posts we have. So they were like supersized posts from the last time we did a job. So we saved them out. They're going to be our corner posts, and we're going to create an H brace. So we're just going to establish that H brace and then go down the line every 30 feet and put in an 8-inch post. And we'll do the T-post later. We think that we can lay the wire up against the 8-inch post once they're done, and then come back and do the T-post. But once the 8-inch posts are in and the wire's up and stapled, that's good enough for our neighbor to be able to use his pasture, because he prefers to keep his horses in that pasture, and he's moved them to a different pasture so that we can do the fence. So that's the plan for today, is get in as many posts as possible. We have 30-some posts that we bought, and the H braces will take us some time, but the regular line posts shouldn't take very long at all. So anything you want to add before we get started?
Famous last words. Shouldn't take long at all. We'll see.
Yeah, it could take 2 days. Stay tuned, folks. We're going to get to work. You guys get to watch. So I measured up on the post hole digger 3 feet. Go back to our original front fence video. I talked about some holes took like 30 minutes or more to dig. Well, I'm down at this clay layer, and that clay layer, it's a little moist so that the post hole digger can dig it, but the post hole digger is also not as sharp as it was when it was new, but it's getting down to that clay layer and stopping. So I'm gonna put it in the hole one more time and clean it out. I need to go down about 6 more inches, and I don't wanna fight that clay with the manual diggers. I can work that with the post hole diggers. You'll notice I pulled the post hole diggers out and they were full of dirt, and that's because I didn't want to pull that dirt out of the hole. But you got to be careful with that, because if the post hole diggers actually dig into the hole, the tractor hydraulics won't lift it up, and then you're digging out the post hole digger out of the hole. And I've done that before, where it got down too deep and I couldn't pick it up with the tractor hydraulics, and I had to dig a hole around it. I did that, I think, twice on the front fence. So just got to be careful when you're trying to pull that dirt out of the hole that you don't lock your post hole digger down in there. Just see, that's just gumbo clay. And when that's dry, that literally is hard as a rock. It'll polish the bottom of the hole with the post hole digger. So for our front fence, if we didn't get this exactly at 5 foot 1 inches, we, and by we, mainly me, Deb tried, but these things are heavy, especially when they're wet. We would pull them back out, clean out the bottom of the hole, and put them back in. And if they were just a hair too high, we'd pound the top of them with a sledgehammer. You're not gonna see that today, because I don't care that much about this fence. This is never gonna have wood railing. It's always gonna be wire. So if it's 1 or 2 inches off, that's the way it's gonna be. We won't go along and cut off the top of the post, because the top of the post is treated, and when you cut off the top of a post, you allow water to get on a less treated section and it'll rot the center out. So when these posts go in the hole, that'll be the last time these posts go in the hole in our lifetime. Okay, I normally bring a 2-foot level with me and hold it up against the post, but I bought this post leveler a while back and I haven't used it, but I found the rubber band was too small for these 8-inch posts. So I got a piece of copper wire here that I tied into the rubber band, and we're just going to loop that around there like that. I've just hooked it to the rubber band and come around there. Post leveler hack, right, Deb?
Right.
That'll get edited out. All right, we got that first post in. The first one's always the hardest. Got to get the equipment ready, get the post out here, get the hole dug correctly. You know, your muscle memory's gone. Remember how you did it. But the first one's in, pretty solid. I like how it's looking. And now the rest should be easier, right? I think I detected a smile on your face.
When you said the rest should be easier, I hope so. But it isn't always the case. You probably just jinxed us. You know you don't say that before a project's done.
I'm just checking out your fancy red shoes.
Don't be hating on my super red sneakers. My theory is you cannot have a bad day if you're wearing red shoes. If you're wearing red shoes, you're having a bad day, you look down and you're like, I got red shoes on. It's good.
I ain't wearing red shoes, just saying. All right, so Deb's holding that post plumb and I'm sighting down it and I'm trying to make sure between the first post we put in and this post, I can go down the side and not hit any root balls of the bigger trees. So I think we have this post in the right place. Trying to create a starter hole for the post hole digger. Okay, it's 1 o'clock and we got 3 line posts in and the corner post, but it's not going as quick as I thought and we're not going to get all the posts in today. Let me show you what we got. So Deb's down there with the 3rd line post and we've done the corner post. But they're pretty much in line. It's hard to work this way. We're not running with a string line. What we're doing is we set a post like at the furthest stump, so we'd have a straight fence line without interfering with any trees or stumps or the butt of a tree. And we set that post up here about midway and we're working our way back to the corner because we wanted to make sure that the fence wasn't going over things that we couldn't move, like big roots on a live tree. So we got a good fence line established. Like I said, 3 line post and the corner post. So we only got 4 posts. It's 1 o'clock. It means we've been at it 3 hours. So that's it's about an hour a post, I guess a little bit less than that, but a lot of time is lost in the setup. Remembering how to drill holes again, remembering how to pack holes, remembering how to level. But we got a system now. Fortunately, we're gonna have to wrap up here in a couple hours, but we'll get a couple more posts in. Got Mrs. Piney Grove hard at work here. So post number 3, I'm rolling that post down for 4, and we got one on the ground there already for 5. That might do it for today. So I believe in the beginning you said I was a bit optimistic with how many posts would get put in.
Yes, you said you don't
would you like
take long.
Would you like to make a comment on that?
Well, I believe I did when you said it shouldn't take too long, and I said, oh, famous last words. So I'm not one to say I told you so, but I told you so.
If we've got 25, I forget the math already. I'm just, this sun is, what's that?
25.
If we got 25 or so to put in, and we'll get, let's say 5 in, that's not good, right? That would mean 4 days of putting in posts, but it won't be, because like I said, the other corner is established, this corner is established, and now we're doing line posts and they go quicker. stacking a post, try not to put sticks or organic matter down there because that won't pack well, like leaves and twigs and pine needles or whatever. Just dirt, preferably the same clay that came out, especially at the bottom. It's real important to get the bottom of the post really, really packed tight.
So you know how Brad talked about sometimes the auger gets stuck? Well, she's stuck. Uh-oh, tractor's off.
I feel like it went under a root because it wouldn't go and then it went, and I think it's caught around a root and it can't come back up on its own.
It's not a fun day right there. Ooh, thought the tractor wouldn't get a start. I thought, ooh, really have problems today. Let's see if she'll come out. He must feel something. He didn't turn off the tractor. Maybe he thinks he can free it up quickly. There it goes. There it goes. That thick clay. Like cement blocks in there in this clay.
Well, folks, we got that post hole digger out of the hole, and I just want to capture this poetry in motion here. This woman has her PhD post hole digger degree. And she is she's just straight working it.
That was clever.
We got the it's a very old joke, babe. We got the auger stuck in the bottom of that hole. I think Deb captured all that video, but it got the hole. It's the deepest one we did today, and so it's she has to do is clean it out. We don't have to carve any clay off the bottom of the hole. But I'm eating a cheese stick and having some Red Bull while Mrs. Piney Grove is getting this ready. We're gonna do this pole and the next pole, and then we got to get home. We got dogs to take care of, so.
We got bad hips and shoulders.
No, my arthritis is acting up. That's why Deb is back there digging that hole.
Moving right along to hole number 6. That's right, folks. Hole number 6.
So while I'm sitting on the tractor doing all the hard work, I am watching that slip clutch right there. And actually I look there, it's like that seal's leaking right there a little bit, but should be all right. But I'm watching this slip clutch, and when this slip clutch starts to touch the top of the dirt mound, I know that the hole is right at that 3-foot mark. I had forgotten that from when we dug the front fence, but it's all coming back to me now. And when that slip clutch is starting to kick dirt up, like a little rooster tail of dirt, you know you're deep enough. And in that hole, we measured it, and Deb just had to clean it out just a little bit, just clean out the bottom. She didn't have to dig any farther, and it's ready. She's summoning me for my tape measure. All right, last post of the day.
Last post for today. So before Brad puts this last post in the ground, I just really want to showcase just how big these posts are.
So I'm 6 foot tall, around 200 pounds. And these posts are 8 foot. And this particular post was left over from the front fence. And we didn't put it in because it was kind of crooked. But this is a side fence, and no one's going to see this except the horses. So we're going to go ahead and use this post. Luckily, it's been drying for a couple years on a rack, so it's not as heavy. But when it was wet, like when it was first bought, I don't know what they weighed, but they were just, I was stronger back then and younger, but they were still heavy back then. Now, in order not to cave in the hole, you gotta drop them in straight. This one's so crooked, we're gonna put the post level on the outside. Straight up and down. All right, probably have to be against the side of the hole. Try that. There's true love right here, folks. Gonna mess up her.
No, too late for that. Something is biting me on my leg.
What'd you say?
I think I'm standing in ants.
Let's see.
My right leg.
That's all we've got for you today. We put in 5 line posts and 1 corner post. We started out with that corner post, came to about midway and started working back towards the corner post. Ideally, we'd have some sort of post like a T-post or something we pounded in the ground and we'd run a string line. But because of the stumps and the trees and everything, we decided to come midway and find the tree that was jutting the most out. And we knew we couldn't put the fence line any closer to that side, unless we had to put the post right there at that edge. So we knew that was the farthest point out, and then we kind of did a sight line and did a straight line down the whole 750, 800 feet. And then once we got that post established, we started working back towards the corner post. And we got 5 line posts in, and it's probably after 2 o'clock now. So that was a solid 4 hours, maybe 5 hours of work. And that averages about 1 hour per post. But like I said earlier, a lot of that was setup time, getting the tools, relearning how to use tools. We've said this many times in many videos. We are not a how-to channel. Sometimes our titles say how-to, but it's how we do. We get out here and we just figure it out. We know what we want it to look like. We know we want it to be straight. We know we want it to be 5 foot above ground so we can put 4 foot of wire up against it, sheep and goat wire. And then if need be later, 1 foot above that, put a piece of barbed wire or some electrical fencing. It just depends on what kind of animals we want to keep out and what kind of animals we want to keep in. But we figure it out as we go. So again, not a how-to channel, it's a how we do channel. And at the end, it's the result that we want. And ultimately, we couldn't have found anyone to put this fence in for us. I think fencing is $3 to $7 a foot, and you provide the material. 800 feet of fence, you do the math, that's $2,400 plus the material. We're 4 days into this now, but they are not 8-10 hour days. They're like 6 hour days. And we probably got 2 more days left. Probably 1 more day of post, and then a day of fencing, and then maybe half a day of T-post, or a whole day of T-post. But so there's still, we're past the halfway point, but we still have quite a bit to go. So Deb, you got anything to say?
I think it went a little slower than what we were used to without the string line. The string line seemed to be a little more efficient time-wise, but like you said, with all the trees and the obstacles in the way, it'll be a beautiful fence when it's done, which will be nice when it's done.
So yeah, string line, like she said, that's the perfect way to put a fence up, but you have time invested in setting the string line and then time invested in taking the string line down, and then the string is in the way, so you got to move it. So yeah, we could have done that, but we went with this way. But anyway, that's all we've got for you today. We got to get on the road. Hopefully you enjoyed hanging out with us today, working on this fence. If you did, please click that like button. If you didn't, don't click the don't like button. Put a comment down and tell us how we can improve. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell, and that bell will give you notification when we post a new video. But other than that, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Y'all take care.
Take care.